Good morning, everybody. Give me a sec here. A little behind. Just got to get these quotes. We'll see what things are at here. They go, it's still early. They're not going to go dead yet. All right. So, kind of a shift, yeah, last week at the end of the week there. We'll go over some stuff, but, whenever, look, whenever I start to think that there's only one direction based on the things that I see, it's a warning sign, especially when the internals are getting close, right? You said that they're ripe last week. And actually, they flipped back down at the end of the week. There was an increase in put buying. Remember, this was up into here, and the let's see if the equity one was down here, and then it ran up as toward the middle of the week, then flipped down. Remember, I spoke about here this very low put call ratio at the top here. And then we got the big, nasty down day on Thursday. And Friday, most markets recovered and others really brought up the rear, what we've been talking about. In addition, at the end of the day on Friday, while it was all day long, this advancers minus decliners was up around plus 2,000, pretty much all day on Friday. So when we saw a sell set up for an intraday trade, in the green room, I mentioned to someone else there, are you going to do it? I said, I'm not doing it because, plus 2000 AD line, most of the times they didn't work. They don't work, but it did work. And then, things came back up again. So it wasn't like the markets fall apart. Whereas if it was down here at a negative and we get a sell setup, many times the markets will make new lows. And you can see here, there was an increase in put buying into the end of the weekend, which could just be, hey, there's weekend risk, let's hedge, so on and so forth. So internals aren't totally there yet, up in the upper band. Sentiment isn't. And breadth is going sideways at the upper end here, which is a positive, but we don't have this alignment. So I suspect that could happen this week if things continue to move higher. You don't hear? Do others hear me? Dropping. Yeah, you hear me. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So where are the spiders at? They're gapping up to Friday's high. And general thought is, hey, you've got a red bar ignored on Friday. If it trades above there, it isn't far at all to make new all-time highs. And clearly, well, that's what should happen. It should poke up there. You've got this basically 4 days of consolidation, and it should go up, period. And it should not close below the red bar. So we have a situation right now that's black and white because of the size of this bar. Right? Gap up, big reversal bar, closing below these lows, and we see that across many markets. It gives us a clear line in the sand. Above there, it should continue to go up. It should not go back down below there. Closing below down there should send it down into the unfilled gap. Pretty simple analysis the way things are set up at this moment in time. Someone in the background now sounds like power tools. There's not a peep going on here, David. Maybe it's at your house. There isn't a peeping noise at all. Yeah, thank you. All right, so these were the largest open interests at the time. Those were the strikes. Nothing got touched. Let's see where the extremes are. Let's call it 58.50, 58.55. What? 55.85. 55.80. That came up. The extremes don't mean just do it there, even though most times, majority of times it works. But you got to do it wide. Now, that appears, look, if it's up here, it could easily go down there, but what's going to be the motivation for it to go down there? Well, who the hell knows? I don't think there's any news coming today. There was already some news out this morning, and the market basically brushed that off. 56.80, 56, same as Friday. So that hasn't changed. All right, good. I didn't even look at the largest open interest. Well, let's take a look. I got some time here. Largest open interest expiring today. 56.60. 56.60. That's pretty big. 56.60. 56.60. I'm looking at my numbers changing. You can see them changing in the little gray box. I'm trying to get it close without having to, go there and punch the numbers in myself. That's close enough for government work, right? You can see the number there, 56.6009. Good enough. All right, I'm not going to be worried about that, changing that. You can see where that is, 50 up there. So that could easily be, and look where it's lined up. And 5,600. Huh, wow. It's close enough for government work, give or take. So it's above there. So just keep those in mind. That those numbers or those areas will come into play. And you can see it's right in the middle of that congestion and that big red bar there. And so it would make sense. Whole number up there having an effect if it should go up there. And, that area, well, give or take, it's about there. All right. So what else is looking directing toward this positive view that the markets would go up? And I showed this to Dan over the weekend because it was like, wow, it was like all of a sudden there's this risk on, like everything is perfect, firing on all cylinders, risk on. And so one of the things we've been talking about in the letter, over really this whole year was that as the markets have gone up, right, during those times where it went up, these junk bonds have done nothing. And so look over here, when the majorities are bearish, markets are going down, nobody cares about junk bonds because no point in taking that extra risk. Let's go where it's safe. But as the markets went up this year, well, you could see at the end of 2003, it went up as the markets went up. But as the markets had its advances during this year, it did nothing. And now, we had that gap down and turn, and now it breaks out above all of these highs, and it's got this huge void up above. So I look at that and I was like, it's like the belief is we're starting a new bull market. Could this be true? I guess it's yet to be seen, right? We continue to follow the trend, but that is what this information is telling me and not everybody, because the only way to interpret it is risk on. And so we look for other confirmation of that. And we look at things like speculative stocks, the Russell. Now, they were going into there, right, with a vengeance on Friday. And that was part of the strong breath. We look at the transports. While they've been doing nothing all year long, they had a great day on Friday and they were chopping sideways suggesting that they're going to go up. Now, not everything is firing on all cylinders, but semiconductors, we'll see what they do. Can they get above that red bar or not? They're not doing anything. We all know NVIDIA is going to report earnings, so that's the number one institutional stock. They better not disappoint. We'll see what they're going to say. We'll see if that runs up into the earnings report. Now, interest rates continue to go down. So I think we all know intuitively, because we all see what's happening in the economy, that it's not good. But supposedly people continue to spend money, even though they're $1 trillion plus in debt on credit cards. But interest rates are going down, which kind of gives, hey, inflation is being tamed. Okay, that's what the numbers say, but interest rates also going down say that there isn't much demand for money, so the economy can't be all that strong. Because otherwise this would stabilize and start to move up or gyrate around here, and we'll see. This is something we're going to see whether this continues to drop. The 13-week down here at 5% continues to roll over, continues to support the idea and the belief that the Fed is going to lower interest rates. We all know that in September, that's the belief. Is it going to be a quarter? Is it going to be a half? That's for speculation. We'll see. And we looked at the 10-year, SPX, and Bitcoin still not doing much of anything. It continues to improve. It's in a trading range. There's just, if you're into Bitcoin, you're just buy and hold for now, unless it breaks down below here, you're fine. It's just in a trading range. Maybe it can get above the top, yet to be seen. Gold, it's going up. It's at new all-time highs. Usually that kind of brings thoughts of inflation, but I've seen gold make monster moves when it was at 2%. So probably more related to the dollar, which looks like it's going to continue to fall, even though it's already fallen quite a bit. Where did I put you? Here we go. You can see way it's dropping. So we always look to the left, and we see that there's a pivot low down there. It's not there yet. So let's see where we're at here, give or take. Now we're at the bottom of that bar. So the dollar continues to fall. Gold should continue to go up. We'll see what the dollar does at that pivot. If it falls straight down there this week, I suspect it will begin to stabilize, because that's just how things work. When things fall sharply, they come down to a pivot low, they begin to stabilize, and then we see if they can begin to make a turn. Same thing with crude oil. Bottom of the range, top of the range. They came down to the bottom of the range. Buyers come up, step in at the bottom of the range. We'll see if they stop here at this congestion or what they're going to do. It's just overall just a big mess right there. Financials. Another vote for the market has one place to go. Up. Broke out to new all-time highs. Consolidated at that resistance. It broke out. Should not break down below that bottoming tail bar's low, especially if it was to do it this week or early in the week. It'd be a bad sign. In addition, we have regional banks. Money poured into them on Friday. Now they're coming up to this resistance there. They're not doing too much this morning, but another vote of confidence that the markets have to go up. So more and more information being aligned that the uncertainty about cutting interest rates has been eliminated. And now that it's been eliminated, is that a warning sign? I don't know, because technically we have to see. Right now, what I know is that all these things say it's going to go up. So unless these events that occurred on Friday get reversed, we should assume that they will go up. Now, how they go up, that's an unknown. Do they go up with a momentum move like this, where I explained in the weekend letter, when there are no pivots or very few pivots, we know that demand is extremely strong when prices are going up and vice versa. And I explained during this year that if you went back and looked, back here, lots of pivots, pivot highs and pivot lows. So there was a grind higher. Whereas here, this went down, no pivots, no uncertainty, no pivots, no uncertainty on the move up. So we continue to monitor, what's happening in multiple time frames. We'll see what happens if things move up as everything is suggesting they're going to, and when this sentiment pokes up into this area, what kind of patterns we get. And that's the job. That's the factory work, to monitor what is, wide trading range, crazy price action, what's happening in multiple time frames and markets, and where does it come all together. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Russ. Yeah, crazy moves here. We have a bunch of open positions, and it was another weekend of many bullish setups. A couple of shorts in the new. Press alarm just went off. This looks good. Big old inverse head and shoulder. Bullish price action. I'm on my laptop here today, so I'll be a little busier, slower, well, busier because of all the trades. But Monday I'm busy. So crust looks good. Greg mentioned IWM, we're long that. And our ETF letter got them in during Powell's comments on Friday. YouTube here. Raul, let's go. LOAR. Yeah, it's a nice buy setup. I like it. And yeah, that's a very clean buy setup with a 180 reversal. I like it. In fact, I'll put it right here. We only have one alarm going off on our opens, and unfortunately, it's to the downside. Baba, we have just a 1/3 lot core long. That's actually gapping right to break even, so there's really no damage other than giving up our open gain. But look at the monthly big old bottom at the pattern. This is gapping down on PDD earnings. And then, was it Walmart? Getting rid of some shares, but that's a big ugly gap, and it looks horrible pre-market. I have that in the bottom right here. Putting it on my list of bearish gap, but excessive. Let's see what it does. All right, so over the weekend, we were looking at these solar stocks, and I got alarms on all these going up. So we have 3 of them on the letter here. EMPH, said G. That is a beautiful bottoming pattern right here. Daily, weekly, breakdown failure, weekly new low reversal. But I hate chasing. So gapping up to 31, that's gapping up over 10%. Wow. I wasn't around Friday afternoon, but that would have been a candidate to take half over the weekend. And then Fizzler, another one, big kind of inverse head and shoulder, another bottoming pattern, that's gapping up. But this one, look at the monthly as a buy setup. So this one I have a bigger target for. Let's So I don't have all my screen space. But let me put that there because we might have to, nibble and scale into it. I'm just going through alarms here on new trade ideas. RCL, another inverse head and shoulder type thing with a buy setup, price void, target 170. Uh, yeah, my alarm went off on iClean, but yeah, it's another bottoming pattern. We did last week, MT Live. Well, it wasn't bottoming per se, but it was more junk, which obviously includes some bottoming patterns. So compare a lot of these things I've just shown you. Those solar stocks, this one, um, they don't look like this. They don't look like this, right? And so that's why we call all these catch-up trades, because they're coming out of some type of consolidation with a void. That looks good. APD. This one is not a catch-up whatsoever. It's bullish daily, weekly, monthly. But the MT Live that jumps out at me when I see this pattern is the turn. This is a multi-week turn after an igniting gap breakout at the 20. My alarm went off, but I don't see any prints, so I don't trust them. EVGO, inverse head and shoulders. Kind of, if you ignore that tail, closing breakout. Yeah, no doubt. I'm talking through my laptop. I have my portable mic ready, but in the past, you all have said that this is better than my Logi. So that's why. Oh, I'm flying home tonight, so I'll be back to normal tomorrow. Copper X, gapping up, bottoming pattern, target, somewhere here, 46.50, 47. So these are all alarms going off on new trades that we're going to have to watch how to get on board. Builder gapping up. Now, see, this is one I would not be aggressive on because it just went straight friggin' up all day on Friday. Look at LOW. I mentioned Friday morning. And I said we'll come back to it, and it just, this home builder stocks just ripped also with the positive Powell comments. We actually had a bear call credit spread on this last week that stopped out either break even or small gain. But now, over Friday's high, it's a put spread idea. It's a red bar ignored. That's closing breakout with a void. Cut alarm. Last week, we actually bought this. It was in a week ago's letter. And then this retracement, we stopped out break even. But guess what? It's a new setup now. Bullish daily, weekly. My alarm did go off, but I see it coming in. And that's also an end of day rally. So I'm in no rush to get into that. I mean, unless you just want to scale, but the stop is the same. These are all alarms just going off. It's amazing. This alarm, I don't see any prints, but I think I got this one from Sam I Am. Bullish daily, weekly, monthly. I have a grinder, but a grinder, the positive is hopefully it's not as stressful because it's not going to look for crazy moves, although it did over here. So this is what I'll be focusing on: alarms on opens, and obviously, trying to get on board all these the alarms are going off. All right, that's no one more. So see, I had a down alarm go off here. Now this is actually one you could do a put spread up or down, but it's still in a powerful downtrend with the gap fill resistance. That's why I favored the tall side because it should not trigger unless it's weak. And it looks like I had an early alarm because it hasn't triggered at all. Um, so I'm gonna set a new alarm on that. So the entry is under here, 598.37. Well, I'll just set it 600 here. This would be a great 30-minute low. Yeah, Greg, I didn't pick up on that either. So yeah, August 20. Oh, those early alarms. Let's just see what else I got on my interest list. Oh, this lower he mentioned looks great on the second alarm. 70 spot 30. Oh, speedy alarm went off. Mm. I when Yeah, I can't tell. It's not liquid. But wow, Alex, look at the size of this bull island reversal. 1, 2, 3, 5 bars of an island. And then it capped up here on earnings. Didn't retrace very much, went sideways, buy setup. Uh, that's a sloppy buy setup, retest with a void to 180. So keep it speedy on the list. I'm just not, I mean, this was a great setup. So you could buy Friday's high, stop Friday's low, and just see what happens, or half lot. It's Greg, you mentioned contrarian indicator, everything looking so good. I am the exact same way. I'm like, oh man, look at all these bullish trades we're putting in. I hope we don't get caught with our pants down. But secondly, in the video, CNBC, they're all excited about earnings on Wednesday. And one guy said, he's like, oh, maybe we should put up a countdown clock. And I'm like, oh man, here we go again. That I interpret that of just another sign of overly optimistic contrarian. And I got a ton of more alarms going off here. They're going nuts. So yeah, it's bullish. It's bullish like many things. Over Thursday's high looks higher, but with earnings, if it gaps under last Thursday's bar, man, we're going to be all over that for bearish stock and option trades. All right. I mean, you all get priority. Tell me if there's anything you want me to look at, but I'm getting overwhelmed with alarms right here. The Disney bottoming pattern, my alarm just went off. That could be a 30-minute high. Alpha November. This looks like a Sammy trade. 30-minute high. Sammy boy, Alpha November. And I'm sure I looked at put spreads already. I'm going to be too busy here to look again in real time, but if the option traders want to do it for me. So Alpha November, if there's anything on the 172.50s. Got slow beta here. I am trying. All right, my toss is slow. All right, DHC is triggering. This was a naked put trade. The naked 3.5s, where we would take assignment if needed. But let me open up my alerts. There we go. Be a ton of them. alarms go off here. I guess all I can do is one by one. Off of November. NWS. I think that sounds NWS. I forget where I got that. Oh, Doppel. These are all miscellaneous watch. These are official. IBP was official. EQIX unofficial. So there's still a ton of bullish ones I'm watching here that are non-official. Bilco, BLCO, necklace. Lore went off. SCI, KLG. Wow. Oh, KLG we are in. And I said, that's a beautiful ad. SYF is a bank. I know that's a continuation pattern. Bravo Kilo. Whiskey Mike. That was an Alex trade. OTEX. All right, so I'm going to be a busy boy here this morning. Going through all this one by one. That's all I can do. This triggered. I'm just one by one. IBP. This. All right, that's bullish. Clean. I clean gapped up. RA is excessive. Wait for pullback. Or Lore is now a beautiful 5-minute high. Let me post this as a new trade. Look at PDD bottom right. That's in pain today. Lower looks like this. A little bit of light volume. 15 minutes home. Friday low. Be a while before I can catch up to them. I think things pretty, hotel. Now is 77. Yeah, I saw that sign be up and up today. Up a hotel. That one was too far from the 20 for me, Sam. I just have so many others. So yeah, some on your list. That's the reason they were too far from the 20. All right, home. Anything on the anything in the credit spread, they're good to go. So Home Depot was a put spread. Coin is good to go over the high. So as posted. Or some of these I wanted in more aggressive, so I set over the closing price. Yeah, this one was over 211.40 coin. Do 1140. That's good to go. OTEX, yeah, OTEX is good. Yep. My alarm went off. Clean. Yeah, my clean is fine. BP. See, I forget what trade this was. IBP. 331. Yeah, no, IPP actually hasn't triggered yet. All right, Fizzler, these things, shoot. All right, Greg, I hate chasing, but what do you want to do with Fizzler here?
Couldn't hear you. What was that then?
I hate chasing. And do you want to do a half on Fizzler or third? You know, the anchor was Friday saying.
They can do a half or a third based on their own money management with a initial share sizing under yesterday's low.
Yeah, no, that's always the thing. I just hate paying up. And EMPH. And I see this 15 was not extended, so that was good to go. And it said G. Oh, that one failed. All right, let's hold off on this. Yeah, remember I said that was a 10% gap. I gave VNPH and Fizzlers put spreads also. People, wow, that thing's tanking. Oh. All right, so coin is good as posted. Mister as posted. SMCI as posted. Call spread. Meta was a call spread. Oh, Meta triggered. Well, the part A of the trigger did. That's the only bearish one I could find of the Shanes. So let's check the math here, you all. At 545.
It's like all the markets are waiting for what, I don't know.
Midpoint is 48. Okay, so that one triggered, might have triggered cleanly. And let me check, check Home Depot's pricing. Lore sitting 71.
COUR from last week, if you can get above these highs.
Yeah, I have an alarm up there. Another one that looked great to add. This is where K, my alarm went off, but I'll get to it. This KLV looks, oh, okay, that's why my alarm went off. It got over the red bar. So this would be an ideal 30-minute high to add. I put it in this middle chart. Oh, Alpha November, let me check the puts. Weekly. 170s are juicy. 70, when's earnings? 10/20. Wow, this is good to go. Boy, this is yours.